Hey guys, are you a slowpreneur, entrepreneur, a small business owner, and you're trying to grow your business with content and don't know where to go? How do I do social media? What do I put? Where do I start? Well, today's show is for you. I have a special guest, Leilani Wells. Now, okay, she got it going on. She got it going on. This is what she does for a living. She helps you figure out what you need to do from a social media perspective. Now, I need you to put your hands together. I don't want a little small clap. I need a big one. You got to give it to me. All right? All right, let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's clap. Clap. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, right?
I'm like, hey, can I clap for myself? This is great. I love it. I'm gonna clap for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on to the show. We were introduced from a mutual friend who got us together. But and here's the crazy thing. I was already looking at your content. She told me about you. I'm like, well, no, I've already, you know what? I wanted her on my show anyway. So we got you here. So let's talk about it. See, I'm ready. I have some questions. I've looked you up. I've saw your material. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I watched your shorts. I watched your
He's like, I know
TikTok. I
about
went to
you.
Pinterest. I wait. TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Oh yeah, I went everywhere. I saw it all. The first question is, if you're an entrepreneur, and I tell people this, but I want your perspective. Do you need to brand yourself and your business? Because most
Yeah.
people are doing the opposite way. They're branding their business and forgetting that social media is about being social.
Yeah, right. I think this is like a great question. There's so many layers to it, but I'll start off with the simplest thing I share with everybody so we can like get to the root of it and kind of like because when you hear the word social media, it can bring up a lot of like oh like trepidation and angst and all this like
Yes.
nervousness in people. So I like to reframe. I like to start off there. And
Okay.
social
Okay.
media is a form of communication. And so I just say social media is communication so that we can reframe it in our minds. When we hear those words, we're thinking, oh, we get to communicate. Now, still, that makes some of us nervous. If maybe you're an introvert or maybe you are working on your communication skills or whatnot. But at the end of the day, we all want to communicate because that is the bridge to connect with other people. And if
Mm-hmm.
we don't find how to build that bridge, then there's no relationship in any way, shape, or form, business or otherwise. So we get to communicate. Social media is this way that we could communicate on a massive scale in faster and easier ways than ever before. So when we can think about it like that, we can start to get excited and we can like push aside everything that every other marketer has told us we have to do, every person and every business that wanted you to purchase whatever they were offering maybe shared with you this is the way, or you saw someone else and you didn't know what made you excited about what they were doing, like one of your many of your people watching you every week by week could be looking at you going, oh wow, but that's Corinthus, like I can't do that and he knows this and that whatever.
Oh my
But
goodness.
you know what I mean.
They have
I'm
no
sure there are,
idea. They
I
have
know, but I'm sure
no
so
idea.
many are looking at you that way, right? And they what they don't know is that they're just attracted to who you are as a person. And so there are other people that will be attracted to who they are as people. And it's
Yes.
not that you're doing any one thing, it's that you're just showing up as yourself. And so that's the thing, the disconnect that I like to reconnect people to is that the new way to brand is just let people see you. And so I help people show themselves publicly.
Okay. Okay. See, now it's interesting you say that because when I first started doing this, I had no idea what I was doing at all. But you said something that was very, I thought, interesting. I think last year we saw the advent of everyone not being themselves and realizing that that persona, that what I call that other persona really doesn't work. People want to know like
Right.
you're a real person, like you're drinking coffee. You,
Yeah.
you know,
I know
like
people
you go
have
to the
seen
park.
I drink a lot of coffee too. In every interview, I have a coffee cup. So bad.
But no, but no. You hit it right
Mhm.
on the head. I
Yeah.
feel that a lot of people don't understand that.
Mm.
Do you
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
like you, sound like you? And that would go a long way when it comes to advertising your business or just showing your product or
Yeah,
service.
you know, and it's easier said than done because you and I have been doing this for a
Yes.
long time.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact I didn't start off being myself publicly. I didn't, I'm sure neither of us did. So I like
Me too.
literally, right? You get to get help to do that. You'd think it would be easy, just be yourself. But like we tell our children, just be yourself, and they're going to school scared, and it takes them a while to come out of their shell.
Yes.
We're if you think about it, any device you turn on your television or your cell phone or your laptop or whatever, you're watching other people do things a certain way for your whole life. You're
Exactly.
gauging how the world works and all the things by your exterior self, not your inside, right? And so basically, you have to understand, or you get to understand over time what we're doing. It's not as obvious as we feel it is because we've been doing this so long that you just like turn a camera on and talk and that's your brand. Like, and then we like, even just to get us started, I was like so concerned about my hair and my hat with without the hat. Now I'm wearing a beanie to cover my hair and all these things going on, whereas
Oh,
like,
now it's funny you say that. So I
mhm,
wear glasses. So to have glasses or not, that's the question. And then I was
yeah.
taking pictures with glasses, without glasses. And then you
Yeah.
do both, and people are like, I didn't know you wear glasses. Um,
Mhm.
you know, you know,
Yeah.
you got the social media, right?
Mhm.
How do you choose which one to start?
I tell people,
I
and
mean,
I start with what I like. Yeah. Yeah. You
okay,
got to start with
okay.
what you like because you're not going to do it if you don't like it. So you got to get started. Excuse me. You got to get started with the one you like first. So
Hmm.
like for me, I started with well, the days of MySpace.
Oh, hey, hey.
That was like the OG start, right?
Okay, there you go.
And or AOL was like like making all that noise to dial up. But no, I started off really truly building a following on Facebook. That was the beginning of everything, was Facebook for me. I remember I was working a job and I was in an MLM at the time when I was off work, and then I was watching dog sitting before and doing all these things to make money. And at the time, and still a single mom, so basically, I was like, okay, well, I want more time with my son, with my friends, with my life,
Yeah.
just do things. And on break, I was like, well, here's a 15-minute or a 30-minute gap. What do I do with it? Everyone's running outside to have a cigarette or to eat or do something. Maybe I just eat at my desk. And I was such a nutcase. Like I bought this like little keyboard that attaches to your cell phone. And I
Oh
had
wow.
that next to my, yeah. And I had that next to my laptop, or not my laptop, my work computer. And on break, I would be friending people on Facebook at two computer devices, my cell phone, using it as a computer with this device, and my computer, just friend, 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 friend. And I wound up growing my following and basically developing like ways of understanding like the culture, because every social media platform has a culture. So
Yes.
the culture of the platform and the way people moved on there, and then people who were in business would eventually from that start talking to me about social media. And then as new platforms came out, my next one was Instagram. And I developed I had a retreat called Gram Like a Boss Babe. I had a 35-page ebook called Gram Like a Boss, and I would teach people how to grow followings on Instagram, and I grew other people's followings on Instagram. And so I was able to just understand that something that other people took a little while, not everyone in the
Hmm.
industry, obviously, but a lot of people took a long time to understand, is that no matter how much we're scared of it, we can reach so many people this way. And so whatever we're trying to inspire, sell, or accomplish, we can do it with much more ease. And it came to me out of necessity because I
All
was
right. All
one
right.
person trying to duplicate myself into two parents and a business owner. You know what I mean? So it was just that's how it came about. But also, I had at the time over, let's see, about 10 years sales experience. I've been working since I was 14. So I've had, experience in sales and have a business and marketing degree or concentration in marketing. So really, I understood certain things that are key to having people see you and want to connect with you and want to know more about you and your business.
So now we're into this age, and I call it there's a 35 and under
Hmm.
entrepreneur, solopreneur,
Hmm.
and there's a 35 and older, right?
Hmm.
And and I think the difference, what I'm finding from a social media perspective, and before it wasn't that case. I mean, because now that older demographic is like, okay, I need to be out here. I'm gonna push these buttons and I'm gonna turn this camera on. I'm just gonna try
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna try it.
Hmm.
Do you
Yeah.
have to have a presence if you are a small
Mhm.
business owner? Because
I
a lot
mean,
of
you don't
people,
have to do anything. Let's be
I
real.
mean,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean to
But
grow though. I mean, really to
mhm,
grow. For okay, most people used to go old school word of mouth. That still works, by the way. I tell
mhm,
people word of mouth works great. But when you're looking to scale, that social media presence has to be there.
mhm,
And so
mhm.
my thing is that, like I said, you have Instagram, you have all these other things. When do you find the time to post?
Right?
So, I mean, that to me, that's the challenge. That's the challenge about this
Mhm.
whole, growing your business with content. First, you have to record the content. You got to edit the content. Then you got to distribute the content.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so when you work with people, do you give them like techniques, strategies
Mhm.
about how do you do this thing called social media?
Yeah. Okay. I love this. I have two different things that I want to share about what you just mentioned because you mentioned
Okay.
things about age and
Mhm.
you also share about finding the time. So I want to talk about both of those things.
Okay.
And
Go
first
for
of
it. Go
all,
for it.
yeah, thanks. And I'll share like first of all, I keep it so real. Like so real, like you said, like we are saying, like you don't have to do anything. Word of mouth still works, all the things. Like for me, I don't like try and just tell people about something that I'm passionate about
Hmm.
and make it their agenda. I make it their option, right? Here's an
Oh,
additional option for you. If you want to get out there more, then go for it. Like sometimes I tell people, well, are you ready for what I'm sharing with you? Because
uh,
if you already have all these people coming to you and I'm going to be like, here, do this, and you're going to have the floodgates are really going to open. Well, you might want to talk about, increasing your staff, a
yes.
little bit more before we get going on some techniques. But at the end of the day, a lot of what I do and how I've built is from the relationships I have behind the scenes. And then
Hmm.
social media is somewhere that they can go to after they already have a relationship began with me or something that, like, for instance, how you and I met, right? You and I were both guests on another interview series, I believe is how we met. And then,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And then that person reached out to you while you were looking at my stuff. So if I didn't have that out there on social media for you to look at, then you may have been looking at somebody else's stuff when she called you. And then that process may have taken a little bit longer. So having social media in place just gives that extra oomph, or it gives
Hmm.
you a new client right off the bat from that. It just is another, it's an additional thing. And I believe it is something that I wouldn't want to personally go without. And then when we talk about, all the different ages, I believe there's 5 different generations in the workforce and the entrepreneurial space
Yes.
right now. Okay, I had this when I was still in the workforce years ago when this just started happening and all these different generations were entering in. I was blown away by this, like, you know how they have these work meetings and they bring you in a room and it's like, oh, these are, oh, here we go again. But this one in particular was, yeah, right. It's like, okay, we're gonna sit
I
here.
know,
I'm gonna
right?
like do it all because it's a bunch of nonsense for nothing. But this one, and actually, like, I worked at the time at the Art Institute of Seattle, and they had some really unique experiences they would pull us into. It was a really cool college, and
Hmm.
they had this guest that was talking about multi-generational ways of coexisting together and
Okay.
understanding and how do we work together. And it was when people started writing books about it. It was the beginning of these discussions. And my mind was just, because I felt like I already have friends of all age demographics. I think like my youngest friend is in their early 20s and my oldest friend is in their late 70s, and these are like my legit friendships that like I will
Hmm.
go to movies, hang out, talk on the phone. It's not like, oh, I just work with you. And I think that what's happening is the people who are looking at age differently are getting a leg up in not just life but business as well, because for one, they're taking away that block from, oh, I can't do this tech thing or this social media thing or this platform because I'm this age or that age. Like, who
Correct.
cares? We all have access to Google now. Like, we need to get over ourselves, you know. And then secondly, they have access to people with multiple different life experiences that they
Yes.
can then add so much value to their life. Like, if I keep in touch with what's going on, with what's pertinent to my friends that are in their 20s and what's pertinent to my friends that are in their 70s, like, what kind of just life does that give me? How much more full and expansive
Hmm.
does my thinking get? Does my access get? All of that. It's just an amazing, incredible thing. And then you were sharing about like, how the heck do I get it all done? Okay, I know I'm preaching the choir with you. You know that no matter what, it's going to be hard work.
Okay. Okay. People don't
um,
understand. It is hard. It is very hard, especially if you're trying to make a goal of like trying to put out 3 pieces of content a week. Now that's very really that's real low. That's the low bar.
mhm.
You still got to record it. You still got to edit it, and you still got to post it. So how do you
Mhm.
do it? How do you do it?
I'm the queen of repurposing. I'm the queen of repurposing. Oh, and I love, love, love being a podcast guest. And what I love about being a podcast guest, one of the things I'm real choosy about when it comes to me being on people's podcasts is, and I think I shared this with you, the first question I ask
Yes.
people, okay, are you going to do either give me a video and audio clip that I can put like ready to go, or multiple clips ready to go on my social media as additional content? Or are you going to give it to me where myself or my team can do it, to where I have that? So now I have content that I don't have to create. Because for me, the longest part of the creation process is,
Hmm.
it's kind of like those artists where their first album that comes out is just fire, right? And then the recording agency then goes and they get a deal, and then the rest is crap after that.
After that,
And you're
after
like,
that.
what happened to my artist? Like, why did my favorite art, like, what is going on here? Well, it's now this artist has restrictions and requirements and
Yes.
things that have to be done. And this person is taken way out of their creative genius because that was in flow, because they were having fun and they were inspired. They were
Hmm.
sitting looking at the moon or whatever. And the
Actually,
best stuff that
actually,
came, right?
actually, you know what? That's actually I've actually started using that requirement. By the way, after I spoke to you, I'm
Mhm.
like, you know, how many podcasts I've done.
Right?
I'm like, man, you know
Yeah,
how much content I left on the table that I could have just
right.
repurposed.
Mhm. Yeah. And
Wow.
it's great for them too, because like I'll send the link on the stuff so people can then go. It's
Yeah.
taking evergreen content. The podcast is evergreen for people who love to go back and listen to podcasts, and these episodes keep,
Hmm.
acquiring. Then it also creates more content in the here and now that you can repurpose, because they're shorts, they're short form content. You take it, you put the short form on YouTube Shorts, you put the short form on Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, Pinterest idea pins, and TikToks. 5 different platforms. I might be missing one off the top of my head. You can send it out on your email blast, do whatever. And you get this out there all over the place. Then you can take the things that you're saying in it, and you can create a post out of it that's written form.
That's true. That's
You
true.
can put this written form on whatever platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, and then you can take that written form and put it in an email blast. You can take a one or two or three things from that clip and put 1 to 3 tweets out that day. And so this is how you take something that's already been done and you maximize it, and that could be a half a week's worth of content, because you're on one podcast that week, and you then have that podcast that you were on sitting there forever that you are directing people to go to their podcast and vice versa. And so for me, I'm invited to be on podcasts, almost weekly now, because of these clips as well. People always ask me, well, how do we get on podcasts? And a lot of people, they hire people to get on podcasts. And I always wonder to myself, how is that necessary? And why is it so hard for people to become podcast guests when I'm asked so often? And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to discount the fact that maybe they're new to the
Hmm.
industry, newer than me. I mean, I've been in business for, so long now, so maybe it's just I'm seeing so much. Well, not maybe, yes, I'm seeing so much in general that it makes sense. But still, I know these
That is true,
podcast
though.
clips are
That is
part of
true.
it. Because why would
Yeah.
they not know to ask me to be on a podcast if they seen me the week before and the week before? Of course they know. They're not wondering, does she do podcasts? They just saw the clip of it. So let's just ask her. Maybe she
Yeah.
wants to be a guest.
See, guys, this is why I had to have you on the show.
Aw.
Because I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm like, okay. Also, I'm taking some notes, so I just want you to know, right? I got notes going on. So I'm
Can I
flipping
get an
screens. I'm
applause
like,
button
ooh, let me
again?
get that
That
one.
was really
Oh,
good for my ego. Hey. Or my she-go, as I like to say.
so yeah. So I want you to tell everybody like what you're doing on LinkedIn. Oh yeah, and by the way, I've never understood Pinterest until I saw what you were doing on Pinterest. People said you need to be on Pinterest. I did not understand it. Hey, but when I went to your page on Pinterest, and I'm like, I would have never thought that. The way that you
Thank you.
repurpose the content,
Mhm.
I'm like, that makes so much sense. So
I appreciate that.
again,
Yeah.
guys, now, guys, I'm gonna have to have her back because I want to get into really like best practices or oh wow, see, I'm using all those technical terms. Oh my god. Okay, instead of best practice, what you need to do when you're using these platforms, and I want to have you back for like a part 2 because I want to do like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok. Did you know? First of all, I didn't know what TikTok was, but my mom has 30,000 followers. She
I
told me
love
about
it.
TikTok.
See, that's
And
my
so,
age. Again, we need to not be worried about our age.
all right.
He said his
And
mom, not him,
okay,
not a
not
child,
me,
his
my
mom.
mom.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, okay, mom.
Yeah.
I said, am I going to do like this when I go to your TikTok? And
What's
you,
your mom's TikTok? You gotta tell the followers where can you find your mom. I want to
and
follow her.
and you know what she does? She
What does she do?
repurposes comedy videos,
Oh, I love
like
that.
little
I love
shorts
that.
from like different comedians.
Oh, look
That's
at
what she
her go. Go,
does.
moms.
And I'm like,
I
and
love
people are
that.
asking her to do duets and all this other stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, wait a minute. You're making a living on TikTok?
She's living her best life.
Oh my goodness. But no, guys, I want you, so I'm going to turn the camera just on you. I want you to
Oh,
talk about Get Seen. And I also
okay.
want you to talk about what you're doing on LinkedIn. All right, go for it. Go for
Love
it.
it, love it. Okay, so over on LinkedIn right now, what we're doing is when we talk about Get Seen, we have Get Seen the newsletter on LinkedIn. I've Get Seen the podcast, so you can check out Get Seen the podcast. We have Get Seen, just Get Seen across the board. There's a Get Seen series that I'm hosting right now on LinkedIn audio events. So for those of you all that don't know yet, LinkedIn is doing audio, and it's very similar to Clubhouse. And so we host those, and really everything I focus on is helping entrepreneurs, business owners, and creatives get seen with what they love to do and generate more profits within their business while doing it. And so it's really something that people come to me for when they are seeking a little bit more clarity, as they're in a transition, like an up level transition. They're already established in business. Maybe they're like 3, 4, 5 years in business, but there's really another up level happening, or another way that they're looking to be more visible. But during that transition, they're not really sure what that looks like, on what platforms to really dive deep into. So before I share all the things about LinkedIn too, Corinthus mentioned Pinterest, and the reason why I was sharing Pinterest with him last time is because Pinterest will get you more people to your website when you operate a certain way on Pinterest. You can get more traffic to your website, which is really great. And all the different platforms have things that they're great for. And so when people come for me, the reason they're coming for me is for strategy. That's the whole thing, is what is our strategy that we're looking to do. And so what I do is I just listen to you quite a bit and hear like the inner workings of your business and what you like to do, how forward facing you want to be. We all need to be forward facing to some extent, if we're not Target or something, or Mickey D's, so really we just develop a strategy for that, because essentially I am a visibility strategist and a marketing expert. That is what I do. And there are many different layers to that. You can go to leilaniwells.com and know about all the different ways that you can work with me. And as far as LinkedIn, we're doing a lot on there, because right now, like me and people that I'm working with either individually or in my group program, Get Seen the Mastermind. And it's really about understanding that there's big opportunities on LinkedIn right now, because people are finally getting it, that LinkedIn is not stuffy, and it's not just about people in the workforce anymore. And people are finally not snoozing on that platform. At the end of the day, though, whatever your platform is, or even if it's not just social media, if it's email marketing, if it's a great collaborations, that's a form of visibility and marketing, picking up that phone and talking to people. And so there's so many layers to this, and that's why I love to work with people on a strategy on the best way to work with me and the best way to grow within their business and essentially get seen.
Wow. See, ta-da. That's your infomercial.
We are not cookie cutter. We're not.
Well, again, we got to have you back. We got to have you back, because I really want you to sort of kind of like, and not, just at a high level, just talk through the platforms. Just get you on, and let's just talk through the platforms. Like, hey, Facebook is really good with it. How to use Facebook in conjunction with Instagram or TikTok, like repurposing. A lot of people don't really get it, the concept of repurposing. Just talk through that. So guys, I gotta have her back. All right, you're stuck with me now. You're back. You're stuck. Okay.
All right, we'll come back. No arguments here. Maybe with a different hat on, or just with my hair showing all the way. Who knows?
You got to tell me. We coordinate. Oh, that's right.
Yes. I know. I'll let you know next time. Maybe if it's Easter, I'll have bunny ears. I don't know.
There you go. There you go. Hey guys, again, thank you for coming to this show. Hey, do you have a tagline? You got to have a tagline.
Oh, do I have a tagline? What, like, let's get seen, but I'm bump. I don't know.
Well, I have a tagline.
Let's hear it. I gotta hear this.
Hey, success doesn't happen overnight. It happens what? Day by day.